Hey everybody, welcome to the Uninformed Banker. My name's Gerald, and today I wanted to talk to you about going back to the office and who's winning and who's losing. So, I recently read an article about how some people who are staying home from the office feel like they're losing out on promotions and this and that just because they're staying home at the office, even though their productivity is off the charts. Now, I get where you're coming from, but at the end of the day, you got to be there. Like I have ADHD, and for me, learning through a computer screen is 10 times harder than learning in person. So that goes to show you the brain does process things differently. So it goes back to the whole seeing is believing with Santa Claus. And you can't expect to get the same promotions and raises and stuff when, you know, if Carl does something and he's able to go to his boss and go, "Look, I did this and I knocked it out of the park." And even though you have knocked three things out of the park where Carl has only knocked one thing out of the park, he's just getting emails that maybe he'll check at the end of the day, at the beginning of the day. But because Carl walked up to him and said that, he has now associated Carl's face with getting stuff done. So when he goes to promotion time, that's just how the brain makes connections. And yes, it may be unfair, but the world isn't fair, so people need to get over that really quickly. We can try and make it as fair as you can, but at the end of the day, you got to do what you need to do to get that promotion if you really want it. Now, the article I was reading was about a lady. Yes, I think it was a lady. Yes, that was she had, I think, a skin condition, which I really feel for you. There's people out there with conditions that it just makes it easier. I'll be the first to admit, working from home, if you can manage it right, it's so much easier because you can wake up, you can get yourself in that headspace, and then you can crush it. And you can take the breaks when you need to and want to. Everything is to you. You don't have to like dress up as much. You don't have to put the time into what am I wearing to work. You don't have to put the time into the commute. It's just, it's easier. You don't have to worry about the kids. It's great, except you're not going to get the same FaceTime. You're not going to get the same experiences. There is something to be said for being in the room when things happen. So, when a manager or someone who's in a position of authority over you, decides to, when they're deciding who's going to be my protege, they're looking at everyone. Well, they're looking at everyone. They're not going to mentor a computer. They're going to mentor someone who's there, because if you're showing up even though you don't need to be there and you could just work from home, that shows them that you're putting the work in. And even though they may not get as much done as you, it's appearance does play a big part in it. Even though you may not get as much done, you're putting the work in to look like you are. And they're going to look for that. They're going to look for who's there at the they say you got to be there early and leave late and this and that. I mean, has that aged a little bit? Yes. But at the end of the day, it's just you appear to be working. When someone's looking for someone to mentor to take their position when they retire, they're looking at that. And this lady was saying she was feeling very kind of left out. All her friends are getting this and that, but her team is crushing it productivity wise. Well, my advice to you is you need to decide on what you want, because do you want to chase those promotions? If you do, then my advice is go into work every day. Even though it'll suck, wait until you get like a little higher up to do the I'm just going to work from home. Or if you can't do that, be there on Monday and be there on Thursday. But most of the time things aren't happening on a Friday because everyone's just trying to finish up their work and get out. And at least that's been my experience. But Thursdays, there's normally some meetings, and Mondays, there's definitely some meetings because everyone's getting on board with what's going on this week and this and that. So be there for the meetings. Be there for some FaceTime. Maybe you take your Fridays off so you have a 3 day. You're working from home and then you're ready to go, or but be there at least some of the time. You got to decide for yourself what your work-life balance is going to be. And if you really want those promotions, you got to be there. You have to. Now, is this a one-size-fits-all solution? No, because I work from home. I mean, my company, we're small and we're still working from home because we're getting a lot done and they don't have to pay for office space. So we're working from home. If your entire company is working from home, obviously don't be the one guy that's going in, because now you're getting like less face time. You're not going to get as much done. It's going to be obvious. But if most of this lady was saying that hers was the only team still working from home, well, then no one really knows that you're there. You're basically like the IT person that they call to do this or that. You're not in the forefront of people's brains. You have to make an appearance. You got to be there. That's why when politicians go to campaign, they don't call in, they go and they have these rallies where people can see them. They don't just do TV ads, they go to places. There's a lot to be said for seeing. Seeing is believing. And that's my advice. It all comes down to what you want. Do you want to just focus on your life? Do you want a work-life balance, or do you want to focus on work for a little bit? If you want to focus on work for a little bit, then you got to be there. If you want a good work-life balance, well, then work from home some days, go into the office on the important days. If you just want to collect your paycheck, you want to be stress-free and like really focus on life, well, then work from home. It's up to you. As with everything, people need to take a little bit of initiative and think about what they want. Now, I get it. It can be frustrating that it seems unfair, but unfortunately the world isn't fair. So if you want that promotion, you got to be there. You got to be in their minds. Anyways, that's all, folks. Have a great day. Bye.